Hi, and welcome back. My name is Mary Calhoun Brown. I'm the award-winning author of There Are No Words, and I'm here to answer your questions. If you have a question for me, you can send it to, let me get this up here for you, www.marycalhounbrown.com, and I'll try my very best to answer the question for you. Today I have a fun one. A lot of times I get a lot of questions about people on the autism spectrum. Today I have a question from a neurotypical family, but it would apply also to someone on the autism spectrum. So without any further introduction, let's get started. And here's the question. Morning at our house is the worst time of the day. What do you recommend for taking the stress out of our family mornings? Well, first of all, let me say I'm so glad that you asked that question, and here's how I would answer that. Mornings used to be the most stressful time of the day at our house. I would go in and wake up each child only to find he had fallen back to sleep minutes later. Half dressed and running late, I'd have to reawaken the little darlings all over again, and usually my tone would be, let's say, strained. Leaving them to their duties, I would go downstairs to prepare something nutritional for breakfast. Child 2 would come downstairs, his Goldilocks sticking up in every direction, and I would send child number 2 back up the stairs to comb his hair. Child number 3, he's my redhead. He was famous for forgetting to brush his teeth. So without even checking his breath, which sometimes he would tint his breath with minty gum to try to fool me. But I would send, he would go back upstairs. Child number 1 hates breakfast food. So he would glower at me with combed hair and brushed teeth. So everybody sort of had their own set of issues. There were other morning disasters as well, the usual lost shoes, lost backpack, paper that needed to be signed at the last minute, and the ever popular I don't need a jacket. I'm sure you guys all know what I'm talking about there. Every day was a disaster, and finally I sort of swallowed my anger a bit and realized that the only behavior I could change was my own. And if you're a regular reader of my blogs, you'll recognize this theme. I repeat it all the time. So I looked at our morning routine from the moment we woke up until the moment we were off to school. And I noticed several opportunities for change. First of all, who wants to be the bad guy first thing in the morning? Not me. I'm not a morning person, and 2/3 of my children are not morning people either. With that thought, I went to Walmart and I bought 3 alarm clocks. When the boys came home from school that day, we set the alarm clocks to the station of their choosing, and I explained that I was not waking them up anymore. They could set the alarm earlier if they wanted to lay in bed and listen to the radio for a while, but I was relieving myself of the responsibility of ensuring that they were awake. I'll admit, it was really hard for me at first. Nothing is so sweet as watching them sleep, innocent and peaceful and all curled up under the covers. Kissing their warm cheeks to wake them was part of our routine, but that routine was failing, and I had to make the change. I have to say, hearing them belt out the Beatles while I'm making my bed is almost as nice. The next change I made was setting up a reminder board. If you listen carefully, you'll be able to hear my husband's eyes roll. Well, can't hear it, but anyway. I bought one of those trifold cardboard project displays, like this one, if you can see it. This actually is for a social studies fair project, but you know the ones I'm talking about. You can get them anywhere. I think I got mine at Office Depot or somewhere like that. I also bought the little cardboard pockets similar to those you find in library books from the good old days when there was a card inside the book with the return date stamped on it. I thought of our morning routine and what needed to be done. The boys needed to remember to get dressed appropriately for the weather and put their pajamas on the chair for the next day as opposed to on the floor. They needed to remember to brush their teeth and their hair. I wanted them to at least attempt to make their beds. And only then could they come downstairs. So I printed off some funny pictures from the internet for each activity and glued them to the project board next to 2 of the library pockets. Then I found tongue depressors and put their names on them. The project board was put away each day with the handy folding action, and at night before we went to bed, I'd pull out the board and stand it up as an obstruction to the stairs, but not so much as to be a fire hazard. Each activity had 3 popsicle sticks. Each was labeled with a child's name. The library cold holders were marked to do and done, so that when child number 1 was ready to come down the stairs, he would move his stick to the done pocket for each activity he was supposed to complete. If he had forgotten to accomplish that task, well, he had a non-nagging reminder right there. It worked. The last obstacle was the dreaded problem of breakfast. No one was happy with breakfast, ever. There was always some whining going on. So I looked at my darling children, stair-stepped, with each boy coming up to the next one's ear, and I decided that they were big enough to make their own breakfast. Yes, milk has been spilt, and popcorn has been eaten, but the grumbling has stopped. Son number 3 likes cereal, and he prepares it himself and eats it every day. He still makes a mess, but nothing that some bounty can't clean up. Son number 2 likes fruit Pop-Tarts or granola bars. Son number 1 hates breakfast food. He makes pizza rolls in the toaster oven most mornings. Hey, it's better than popcorn. I mean, it does have dairy and meat and wheat, so that's 3 whole food groups from where I come from. Do we still forget to have our papers signed? Yes. Do we still misplace our shoes and backpacks even though we each have our own locker? Yes. But now these occasional flub-ups are met with more patience and less exasperation. We all get to school on time, and that means that I get to work on time. Once the boys knew their morning responsibilities and routine, I was able to fold up that project display board one last time. I lent it to a friend a couple of years ago, and she hasn't returned it. She has 4 little ones, so I'm guessing it's being put to good use. Son number 3 still talks about the morning board and recently reminded me that one of the reminder photos was of the guy who's so darn cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Good luck with your morning. And I hope your routine improves, and I hope this helped. So thank you for joining us today. And again, if you'd like to send me a question, you can send it to www.marycalhounbrown.com. And next time, I'm going to talk about mom bucks. You can't really see this. I'm going to hold it up to the camera, but that's me in the middle of a dollar bill. And this is one way that we helped each other to spend less time focused on electronic media and more time focused on activities that don't include electricity. So anyway, if you're interested, you can tune in next time when I talk about the mom bucks. See you next time.